Hello and welcome back to CougZone. I am your host, Anna Adams.
And I am your co-host, Addison Wong. WSU Athletics is back in full swing with tennis, swimming, track and field, and men's and women's basketball competing in many games and matches since we last left off.
Plus, a look inside WSU Esports, a recap of some pro Cougs in the NFL, and student reactions to WSU's Charlize Ledger-Walker's season-ending injury. And of course, to wrap things up, an outlook of Cougar sports to come. All that and so much more.
Right here, only on
CougZone. WSU men's basketball has been on fire as of late. Earning victories in each of their last 5 games, the Cougs have solidified themselves as the second best team in the Pac-12. WSU edged out UW by a score of 90-87 in an overtime thriller on the Husky hardwood. The Cougs jumped out to a 44-40 lead in the first half, but had only mustered 37 points in the second half until Isaac Jones slammed down a clutch dunk in the final moments to force overtime. Miles Rice took it from there. He outscored the entire Huskies team 5-4 in the extra period. The Cougs got huge contributions from Isaac Jones, who put up 20 points and 7 rebounds in 42 grueling minutes of play. Jalen Wells and Miles Rice also had 19 and 18 points respectively.
The Cougs followed up their victory over Washington with a convincing win against Oregon State 64-58. Jalen Wells had an immaculate performance in Corvallis, putting up a career-high 24 points and adding 7 rebounds. Wells' efficiency was impressive, making 6 of his 8 three-pointers. His magic touch infected the roster as the Cougs shot nearly 50% from 3 as a team, which made any comeback attempt from the Beavers a futile effort.
The Cougs finished their 3-game road trip with a 62-56 win over the Oregon Ducks on the road. In their final regular season meeting with the Ducks, WSU put together a team win. 4 Cougs had double-digit points, led by a Miles Rice masterclass. Rice put up 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. Rice also scored 8 of the Cougs' final 11 points, proving his clutch pedigree once again. The win is just the second time the Cougs have beat Oregon in Matthew Knight Arena, upsetting the Ducks on the road for the first time since 2021, and the second time in the 12 matchups. Guard Miles Rice also earned his 6th Pac-12 Freshman of the Week award, putting him 1 behind NBA star player Evan Mobley, with the most in Pac-12 history.
WSU women's basketball has suffered through 4 straight home losses, following their big win against number 2 UCLA, which came at the cost of a season-ending knee injury to star senior Charlize Ledger-Walker. Their first loss was a 63-57 battle against the Colorado Buffaloes. Tara Wallach paced the Cougs in scoring with 19 points, while senior Bella Murakatete led the team in rebounds with 10. Sophomore point guard Estera Tahina returned to the court for the first time in 6 weeks, helping to ease the burden of losing Ledger-Walker. AT dropped 15 points versus number 6 Colorado, and the Cougs led midway through the 4th quarter before Colorado senior Frida Forsman's 6 three-pointers and the Buffs' high-powered offense caught up to the Cougs.
2 days later, the Cougs faced off against the Utah Utes and lost 73-61. Murakatete and Eleonora Villa led the team in scoring with 15 points each, and Wallach recorded her first double-double of the season with 10 points and 10 rebounds. Forget half court. AT nailed a buzzer beater from 70 feet out, in other words, the other side of the Cougar logo, to tie it up at half. While the game was close, the Utes sank 13 three-pointers to widen the gap to 11 by game's end. The following weekend, the Cougs took on Cal at home and lost 66-59. Eleonora Villa, finding her groove as a starter, led all Cougs in scoring with 17 points, while Wallach, Murakatete, and Beyonce B scored in double figures. It was once again the opponent's three-point shooting that put the Cougs away, despite a late second half push.
This past Sunday, the women's basketball team took on the number 6 Stanford Cardinal and lost again at home 73-58. It was a difficult shooting night with only 2 Cougars scoring in double digits. B did, however, grab her 1,000th career rebound, and Murakatete finished this 4-game stretch as the Cougs' 10th all-time leading scorer. The Cougs have 6 games remaining in the regular season with a chance to make a 4th consecutive NCAA tournament alive.
WSU Tennis dropped their first match of the season in a 5-2 loss against Baylor on the 3rd in Seattle. Elise Say and Eva Alvarez-Sonde have continued their undefeated streak in doubles, but Alvarez-Sonde fell in the singles competition. However, Yura Nakagawa and Elise Say both picked up singles victories.
Then on the 9th, the Cougs traveled down to Portland to face off against the University of Portland and fell in a close match 4-3. Elise Say and Eva Alvarez-Sonde dropped their first doubles match of the season, but Yura Nakagawa and FIFA Come Home stepped up with a doubles victory of their own. Alvarez-Sonde yet again dropped another singles match, but Nakagawa, Say, and Anya Abusad managed to pick it back up with their singles win. But it wasn't enough to outlast the Pilots.
WSU ended their 2-match skid with a 7-0 win over Portland State and Corvallis, Oregon the following day. The Cougs found their groove again as every player picked up a win in their singles and doubles matches. A clean sweep to get the season back on track.
Track and field season marches on as they have competed in 4 events since the last time we met. In the men's 60-meter dash, Mason Lawyer finished second after posting a career best time of 6.59 seconds. Also good for 9th best across college track this season, finishing just behind a former WSU athlete, Ray Wells Jr., who ran a 6.48 dash. The Cougs got several podium finishes at the Riverfront Invitational, as Michaela De Mello won women's 60-meter hurdles, Nana Gaidu won women's shot put, and Jasneet Nijar won the women's 400-meter.
Jasneet Nijar also accomplished a WSU record in the 200-meter, breaking the program record for fastest finish with a time of 23.54 seconds. Mason Lawyer continued his fast times during the men's 4x400 relay, helping the team accomplish a time of 3 minutes, 8.62 seconds, the 3rd fastest time in WSU history and 19th best in the NCAA.
WSU women's basketball star player Charlize Sledger-Walker is out the rest of the season with an ACL injury. This huge loss to the team hit the rest of the WSU community with a painful sting. Our VP of Television, Gunnar Scott Miller, gathered some students' reactions to this huge news.
My first initial reaction was like genuine heartbreak.
Shocked and really disappointed.
I think my reaction was the same as everybody. Is just, oh, that's gonna suck. That's gonna hurt us.
It was announced this morning that star women's basketball player for the WSU women's basketball team, Charlize Sledger-Walker, will be out for the rest of the year with an apparent knee injury. The WSU community reacted to this Charlize Sledger-Walker injury news.
It's super disappointing to see that be the end of her career here. Hopefully she plays professionally, whether in the WWA or back home in New Zealand.
I speak for all of WSU that we're crushed and we really feel bad for her. We just hope that she's going to recover fully.
Especially with how they're doing this season, how they've done in past seasons. She's always been there for the women's basketball team.
Despite such a horrific injury for a basketball team, the WSU community hopes that their players rally around and play for Sledger-Walker for the remainder of the season.
In the locker room, that's a huge loss to not be able to have your star player. I really hope the team can rally around and win the Pac-12 again for her.
And that the women's team will be able to pick it up and still take the women's basketball team to as many victories or more than last year.
I'm Gunnar Scott Miller, Murrow, News 8.
Washington State University's esports teams have begun their season competing in leagues across college landscape, such as the National Association of Collegiate Esports, the Cyber Athlete Championship Series, the Eastern College Athletic Conference, and the College Call of Duty League.
WSU's Counter-Strike 2 team took home a win against Sacred Heart University in a forfeit, but lost 2-0 against University of Washington. Then WSU Rocket League Crimson is on a hot streak, winning all 3 of their matches this week with a 3-1 win over University of Nevada, a forfeit win against Moore Park College, and a 2-1 win in a close match against Virginia Wesleyan University.
The Apex Legends team competed in a 40-team battle royale and came in second after an intense match with other top schools around the country. And WSU's Smash Ultimate team defeated Chapman University 2-0, while the WSU Fortnite team finished 20th out of 96 in a duo battle. Finally, the WSU Call of Duty team lost both of their divisional qualifiers, 0-3 against the Oregon Ducks and 1-3 against Utah Valley University, placing them in Division II for the College COD League.
Swimming is riding high off of a 2-meet win streak after taking down Utah and Idaho after falling to number 4 ranked USC in their home pool. Against the Utes, the Cougs closed out the Pac-12 schedule with a 145-117 win, where the team won 8 events and 2 swimmers achieved school records.
Emma Wright, Angela DePaulo, and Selena Duran-Ortiz set a pool and school record with a time of 3 minutes, 20.46 seconds to secure the win. With momentum, the Cougs went across state borders to take on Idaho on the road. Against the Vandals, the Cougs took a 173-115 victory after pulling out wins in 11 of the 14 events. Swimmers across the board took home victories, with the Cougs as a team taking home the final 6 events.
The Cougs represented well in the 2023 NFL season, highlighted by the Kansas City Chiefs cornerback Jalen Watson. Just like his rookie campaign, Watson capped off his sophomore season on top of the football world. He came up big in the Super Bowl as he recovered a muffed punt by the San Francisco 49ers that in part helped swing the momentum in his team's favor. Used mostly as a special teams gunner, Watson continues to make big plays in big games.
Everyone's favorite mustache maniac had a great 2023 as Gardner Minshew stepped up following Anthony Richardson's injury with the Colts. In 13 starts and 17 games, Minshew got a Pro Bowl nod after finishing the season with 3,305 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 84.6. It is the first Pro Bowl nod of his career and proves Minshew to be the best backup in the league.
Frankie Louvu kept up his momentum after he broke out with the lowly Panthers last season. In the 2023 season, he had 5.5 sacks, a career-best 125 tackles, and forced 2 fumbles. The 27-year-old has been a force on the field ever since coming to Carolina, and he leads their defense despite their team-wide struggles.
Closer to home, Jalen Thompson improved his ball hawking skills for the Arizona Cardinals secondary, hauling in a career-best 4 interceptions and deflecting an additional 9 pass attempts. Not quite yet Thompson Island, Jalen has rapidly improved his coverage for a team with an unclear future.
Make sure you are not missing out on the late season games and events of our athletics. Before we sign off on this episode of CougZone, let's send it over to our WSN correspondent Cassidy Collins for an outlook on Cougar sports to come.
Hey Cougs, I'm Cassidy here with your Cougar Outlook. We are in the thick of WSU's athletic season with many games and events going on for the Cougs. Starting off this weekend is baseball with its first series against Utah Tech. This 4-game series will start on February 16th and will end on the 18th down in St. George, Utah. Then from the 23rd to the 25th, the Cougs will head down to Round Rock, Texas for the Round Rock Classic, where they will take on Kansas, Texas State, and Kentucky, before closing out their Texas trip with a stop in Fort Worth, Texas to take on TCU on the 27th. Moving forward, on Friday the 16th, WSU's track and field jumps back into action with an all-day event at the Arkansas Qualifier in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Following a week's break, the Cougars will travel north to Seattle for the Ken Shannon Invitational. This is a 2-day event that will take place on February 23rd and 24th. Next up on Friday night is women's basketball, which is looking for their first win after losing the previous 4 at home. They will fly out to Tucson, Arizona to face off against the University of Arizona. With a tip-off time of 5 p.m. Pacific time, the Cougs will finish their Arizona trip with a stop in Tempe to take on the Sun Devils on Sunday, the 18th at 11 a.m. Women's basketball will return home the following week to face Oregon schools. First, Oregon State on Friday the 23rd at 7 p.m., followed by Oregon on Sunday the 25th at noon for senior night. Then on Saturday, WSU's men's basketball will tip off against Stanford at home in Beasley at 3 p.m. Men's basketball will then take their Arizona trip, taking on the University of Arizona first on Thursday, the 22nd at 8 p.m., then at Arizona State on Saturday, the 24th at 5 p.m. to finish out the month. The Cougs will return home to take on USC at Beasley on Leap Day, the 29th at 7:30 p.m. WSU has been playing very great basketball to start out this month and looks to continue that streak moving forward. Men's and women's golf both have 3-day events spanning from February 19th to the 21st. The men will compete in Prestige in La Quinta, California, while the women will head to the Big Island in Hawaii for the Pac-12 preview. Women's tennis is looking to change things up with their recent losses in a match against Montana on February the 24th here in Pullman starting at noon. Finally, WSU's swimming team will compete in the Pac-12 Conference Championships in Federal Way, Washington on Wednesday, February 28th till Sunday, March 3rd. Make sure to cheer on all the WSU athletics throughout the rest of the month and to show up and show out for all home games and matches. Once again, I am Cassidy Collins with your Cougar Outlook, sending it back to the desk with Anna and Addison.
Thanks, Cassidy, and thank you for tuning in with us today. Want more WSN content? Follow us on all our social media at Wazoo Sports Network on Instagram and TikTok, and at Wazoo Sports Net on X.
Also, make sure to like and subscribe to Cable 8 Productions on YouTube for more amazing content, like our most recent Wazoo recaps and more.
And our merch store is live. Click the link in our Instagram bio to see all the WSN swag available for purchase. Once again, I am Anna Adams.
And I'm Addison Wong. It was our delight to be your co-host today, and we'll catch you next time.
Right here, only on CougZone.